This first chalice, you're going to need 1,000 blood echoes and 2 ritual blood ones to begin. And you get this from the Bloodstarved Beast in Ulgarnum. So to kind of start here, you start with the lamp. It's very similar to the dungeons in Elden Ring, where you got to find a switch or a lever, and you pull it, and then the door unlocks, and then you fight a boss. Yeah, so I'm just going to be showing you the entirety of all 3 floors, because this Chalice Dungeon in particular is a 3-floor or 3-layered Chalice Dungeon. The Pthumeru, I think it's called the Pthumeru Chalice Dungeon. One of the very first. So I'm a bit overpowered for this. I have a plus 10 burial blade. I'm on New Game Plus, so I'm doing a bit more damage than I should. But you can technically access this right after the Bloodstarved Beast if you'd like. Yep. I'm not going to be going straight to the lever, by the way. As I said before, I'm going to be going through the entire dungeon, kind of showing you the drop rates of items or kind of where to go. Excuse me. There's a lot of times in this the wrong way. I get turned around a lot in these dungeons, especially in layer 2, if I recall, even though I literally just did this. Yeah. This message will appear a few times where it says I can't hold it anymore. There was one time after I beat Gehrman where I just went through, after I bought all of his gear and stuff, I used some of the Moon Presence' echoes and maxed out, or almost maxed out, my blood vials and Quicksilver bullets. So if that message appears, that just means that I have no more in the storage. I mean, it's in the message. Hopefully it can be read like that. Yeah. This is also a voiceover, if you couldn't tell already. I'm not actively saying any of this while playing. This is me going back through it. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify that, just in case somebody didn't or does get this message and aren't entirely certain why. Yeah. So I'm actually surprised this guy didn't throw it at me sooner. So at the bottom of the ladder, that is oil. Sorry, I said it kind of weird the first time. And when he throws it, obviously it does more damage to me, but you might want to watch out for him. In fact, I would go up the ladder and not go back down like I did. I would try to kill him first, honestly. Oh, these guys, okay. So the dudes that are being summoned here are being summoned by her, right there. So it's kind of like the dude, it's kind of like the woman who is in, it is the woman in Yargul, who summons the guys to fight you in Yargul. So that's a reoccurring character in the Chalice Dungeons, as well as these guys called the Watchers, which I almost immediately made the mistake of trying to not check my surroundings, so it cost me. It didn't almost kill me. As you're seeing here, I only got to about half health before I figured out what I was doing. But yeah, so these are the Watchers. The Watchers and those bell-ringing ladies, which I call Summoners, I think that's what they're called, are a reoccurrence throughout the Chalice Dungeons. In fact, later on, there's one of the Watchers that I had never seen before in these early dungeons that it's going to appear, I think, in layer 2 or I think it's layer 3, honestly. Yeah, so now I pulled the lever. Yeah, that was stupid. And when I knew I was going to be recording a voiceover for this, I was thinking about it. I was like, I can't believe I got hit by that after all the times I've been through these stupid dungeons. But anyway, yeah, now you can go back to the door, which I don't know if it was visible the first time, but it was a purple light. But the lever also, and these doors both turn blue, saying that they're activated. Okay. So now it's on to the boss. There's going to be a lamp here soon that appears. Yep, there it is. Not to sound cocky or pretentious or anything like that, but as I said before, I am very over-leveled for this. Almost trying to get through, because I don't remember how long I set the recording time to. I don't remember if it's a 30-minute timer or a 60. I'm going to change it to 60, hopefully. But, I'm quite powerful for the very first Chalice, having a plus 10 burial blade. So, I'm going to probably breeze through these bosses quite easily. Yeah. I didn't do it, and you probably should, but for rooms like this, they normally have chests hidden behind the pillars. I only did a bit of searching. Oh, and people come out of coffins, that's what that was. If you see a coffin against the wall, there's a 60% chance there's an enemy hidden within it, so I always just break them. This is kind of where I start getting turned around, like I'm not entirely certain where I'm going, so I'll just let you see this out. So I'm not going to realize it for a few seconds here, but there's actually a summoner. Okay, so now I realize, because when the glowing red enemies appear, which I'm glad there's just these guys, the spiders that she summons later in later chalices are much more difficult to deal with. In fact, I believe this next part that's coming up, I'm just showing you that once you kill her, most of her goons will die. So this is where one of the watchers with the hammer. Yep, that's why I stopped, is because I was like, what? I've never seen him in a chalice that isn't a lower chalice. He always kicks my ass, honestly. It's such a difficult character sometimes, especially when he does the rolling and he splats right on his back. It becomes really difficult to avoid. I haven't personally found anything yet, but I'm sure that'll change. But I also just unlocked it, so we're not gonna be heading back to the door just yet, because I'm still showing I'm just showing off the Chalice Dungeon in total, so I'm kind of going in every room that I can remember and or haven't found yet. So similar to what I said last time, I'll kind of let this play out until I'm needed again. going to try to split up this next part, because I do get turned around for quite a while. I think it takes me about 3 or 4 minutes to actually figure out where I'm going next. There's also a part that I'm going to be either cutting out or speeding up. I can't remember at this moment. There's another one of those spell ladies of showing the upper parts of it, because I thought that there was more to this, to the upper parts, like the ones with the cages that drop down. But there wasn't, so I just kind of ran around for a solid maybe a minute or 2 minutes of just me running around in circles until I'm like, oh, there's nothing up here. So, yeah. Okay, so here's where about I figured out where I was, and I was like, oh, I didn't go across the bridge yet, because I thought I came from this next area, but I'm also showing you kind of like, here's where you come from, here's where you go, just so that you have like a straight shot if you're using this for like a walkthrough, being like, oh, you enter through here, you exit through this next part. But yeah, it took me a little longer than I wanted it to. That part that I was talking about, where I was like, this little balcony area, it doesn't go anywhere, and there's in fact only like, I don't think there's even an enemy that I fought up here. I'm just showing that the cage falls down, and then I run in circles, so I'm just gonna skip ahead. Now we're out of that. Let's continue. So here's the room with the lever, and there's another watcher. The only difference between those, if it's not obvious here, is that his weapon now does flame. So if your character has armor that's either weak to fire or to damage in general, probably suit up, because honestly, most people don't. Well, actually, there are a lot of people I know that do this, but most people try to do the Chalice Dungeons at the level that they're supposed to, so they don't get too bored or too frustrated with how difficult it becomes. So it's just word of advice. You might want to use the Charred Hunter set if you're going to be going toe-to-toe with this thing when the level that you're quote-unquote supposed to be. But yeah, this should show you the path back to the door, if you don't just use a Bold Hunter's Mark, of course. So it's not really even that far from the thing. I just want to speed up so you don't, Anyway, side doors. So these come into play, especially in the later dungeons. They almost always have them before and after boss fights, and they're exactly what they sound like. They don't have a lever or anything. It's just finding chests, essentially, especially the big ones that look like almost mummy tombs. Not me almost getting hit by an enemy like that. Anyway, so basically what you're doing in here is not trying to find a lever. As I aforementioned, it's just finding treasure. You don't have to do these rooms, really, but honestly, I would suggest doing them. They do become a bit of a hassle when they become longer and longer. Like, it becomes almost a chore, but you definitely want to do it. I mean, I got a Bold Hunter's Mark, which are kind of hard to come by, unless you just buy a bunch of them like I accidentally did. I have like 79, I think I'm looking at on my screen right now. But they give you materials for either the next chalice or another chalice that you're working for. Like, these ones give you the materials to go to the next chalice, Pthumeru chalice, whether that be the rooted one or the lower ones, of course. So you definitely want to do these side rooms as you see fit. Or you can just keep fighting the bosses and it should unlock them either by the insight Bath Messengers or the regular Bath Messengers to start holding them. See, here's one of those chests I was talking about. Kind of when I mean when I say mummy. Kind of looks almost like a mummy's tomb. Or like a casket of sorts. Because it is. I mean, look, it's literally... Yeah, it's a ritual blood too, so it'll give you materials that are definitely either worth your while or repair/replace the items you've used already to open said chalice that you're in currently. But once you find that, there are only in lower chalices there are more chests, but because this is the first one, there should only be that chest, and then you just keep going. As I'm doing now, go back to the boss, which is the third and final boss, until you have one more lamp that takes you back to the Hunter's Dream, in which you can either remove the chalice or keep the chalice to farm the enemies here. It's really up to you. So the way back is easy. You just have to find the room that, right before the boss door. But I'm choosing to use a Hunter's Mark because I don't want to walk all the way back there. I just want to make that comment. It's not a hard find. I just was being lazy here and just want to get the boss over because, again, I didn't know how long this recording was going to go for until it either stopped by the console doing it or something else, so I just want to make sure it was absolutely good. But here's the boss of the final layer. So that was the complete Pthumeru Chalice Dungeon. See you next time.